Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about why looking at the world with a bountiful eye brings wealth and riches into your life. Proverbs 22:9 says, "He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor." This has two applications. One is that the person with a bountiful eye, because they see such abundance, they know God's abundance, they experience His abundance, they're more likely to be givers. They are givers. You can't see God's opulence and abundance in His universe and not be a giver, and not give bread to the poor, not do good unto those who are in need. And that is sometimes why people aren't giving. They're not generous. They cling to money, cling to things, because they don't see the abundance of God. They don't have a bountiful eye. So they're fearful. They see lack. They see limitation. You see this in so many poor people. They have this mentality of, if you get more, you're taking away from someone else who could have had that part you get. They have this mentality, and it's taught in the schools, it's taught in colleges, taught all over the place, in the media. Like there's this limited pie that you can get a little bit of. And if you get too much of, then you're taking from somebody else who could have got that little piece you got, that little extra that you got. But in the reality, when you see the world with a bountiful eye, you realize there's no limitation on that. That proverbial pie, so to speak, is unlimited. Anyone can reach in and grab as much as they want, and they're not taking anything from anyone else. There's such abundance. I made a video where I talked about this one asteroid, how it had more wealth contained in it, in the metals, than all the economies on the entire planet. That's how abundant the universe is. There's no limitation. You may see limitation, but that's because you don't have a bountiful eye. But what if you do have a bountiful eye? Are you giving? Are you clinging to your stuff, clinging to your things, thinking, well, I got to save this, there's a limitation, or the economy's doing this or that. What about this politician? And you're all worried and fearful and fretting over material things. My friend, look to the bountiful, the unlimited, almighty God, who's infinite in His creativity and infinite in His creation. His universe is opulent. It's abundant. There's so much available to us. I was talking with somebody today, and a book I'm writing, I mentioned in there, and the book's not written yet, but I'm writing it. And I mentioned in there about aluminum and how at one point in time, aluminum was one of the most precious metals on the planet. More expensive than gold. And yet now we've realized its abundance, and it's so cheap people use it to put food in and throw it away. It has very little to no value compared to what it did. But you see, that is the way the universe is. There is such an extravagant abundance available to you if you'll believe. If you'll get past that lack thinking, that limitation thinking, that, well, there's not enough, or, you got to do this, or, well, only certain people can reach those levels, and all these excuses people have for why they can't be more, why they can't do more, why they can't have more. And you realize, wait, with God and me walking together, co-creating with Him, there's no limitation. All things are possible to me, because as Jesus said, all things are possible to him that believeth. And with God, walking with God, all things are possible. If you're with God, you're in union with Him, you're walking with Him, you're co-creating with Him, and you have all things being possible unto you. And then you realize, and you come to the cognition of the fact that all things are mine. My Father has given me all things. I have no limitation. I have no lack. There's nothing that I cannot have. There's nothing that is too high for me to receive, because God is my Father. And that's what Jesus stressed over and over again about God's not going to give you something bad if you ask for something good. He's not going to deny your request. Jesus said, ask and ye shall receive. The problem is many people don't receive. They fail on that receiving part. They ask, and then they start immediately putting up blocks. Well, it's not for me. Well, there's a problem in the economy. Or, well, only rich people get that. Or only certain people can have. And they just talk themselves out of the blessing that God freely wants to give them. And I'm asking you, my friend, to see the world through bountiful eyes, where you see the bounty of God, you see His abundance, you see opulence everywhere. If you live in a civilized society, a modern society, you can drive through a city and see billions and billions upon billions of dollars worth of buildings, banks with millions of dollars in them, stores with millions and tens of millions of dollars worth of inventory. Just billions of dollars all around you as you drive past every day and never think about. Such abundance. Such a bountiful world we live in. And yes, maybe a limited percentage of the population is open enough to receive that, and the rest are just kind of flailing around trying to get their piece of the proverbial pie that they believe exists, that is a limited pie that only there's little bits available. All the rest of the people are hogging the rest of it, which of course is not true. Because we see this abundance. We see that there's no limitation. We see that there is extravagance in the universe. We see that the fruit tree produces way more than a person could ever need. There's literally in this country crops that just set out in the fields and waste because there's no demand. There's too much because there's such an abundance. There's talk of famine and talk of people needing food in certain countries and certain areas, but there's an abundance. It maybe for whatever reason, political or otherwise, it's not being used right. It's not being distributed right. And it's going to waste. But the fact that it can go to waste is just a testimony to what abundance there is in this universe. And my friend, we have to think that way. We have to look at life that way. See abundance, see opportunity, see blessings ever before us. Everywhere we go, everywhere we step, there's only goodness coming to us. Only goodness lying before us. Our path is one of blessing to blessing to blessing, glory to glory to glory. Always seeing and realizing and experiencing God's infinite abundance. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.